Everyone, I'm Yaran, and today I'll be presenting chain of verification, a novel approach to making AI systems more reliable and trustworthy. In today's presentation, I'll cover several key areas. First, I'll explain the challenge of AI hallucination and why it matters. Then I'll review previous approaches to addressing this issue before introducing chain of verification as a new method. I'll walk you through how it works, share experimental results, discuss real-world applications, and explore future possibilities. As AI systems become more integrated into our daily lives and critical operations, we're facing a significant challenge: AI hallucination. And this occurs when AI generates information that sounds perfectly plausible but is actually incorrect. Consider these real-world concerns. A legal researcher using AI might receive citations to non-existent court cases, or a medical researcher might get plausible but incorrect information about drug interactions. These aren't just hypothetical scenarios, they represent real challenges organizations face today. The AI research community has been working on this problem for a while. Early approaches try straightforward fact-checking against databases, but this proved too limiting for complex, context-dependent information. Later developments like chain of thought prompting help by making AI show its reasoning process, but hallucination could still occur within these reasoning chains themselves. These approaches, while valuable, didn't fully solve the problem of hallucination. And these bring us to the chain of verification method. What makes this approach unique is its core assumption that an AI system, when properly prompted, can act as its own fact checker. The key innovation lies in its systematic verification process, where the model deliberately separates generation from verification. And this method was introduced in the paper Chain of Verification Reduces Hallucination in Large Language Models. Let me walk you through how the chain of verification process works. It breaks down into four key stages. First, the model generates a baseline response, essentially drafting a preliminary answer to the given query, similar to how a researcher might write a first draft. Second, it plans verifications by identifying specific claims that need fact-checking and formulates targeted questions about these claims. And third, it executes independent verifications, deliberately avoiding bias from its initial response. And this separation is crucial as it allows the model to approach each fact with a fresh perspective. And finally, it produces a final verified answer that incorporates only claims that pass the verification process. Let's look at a concrete example of how this works. Here we have a query asking for Nobel Prize winners in physics who were born in Germany. And in this example, the model first generated a list of Nobel Prize winners in physics who were supposedly born in Germany. However, we can't simply trust this output as it may contain inaccuracies. In this first step, the model generates the preliminary answer. And this is just the initial draft, and we can't yet trust its accuracy. So next, the model identifies where specific facts need verification. In this case, it creates verification questions about the birthplaces of each person mentioned. And these targeted questions allow the model to focus on verifying specific facts rather than trying to verify everything at once. Now comes to the crucial verification step. The model independently answers each verification question without referencing its initial response. And this independent verification helps avoid bias from the initial response and ensure each fact is checked in isolation. So finally, armed with the verified information, the model constructs its final response. It only includes information that passed the verification process, and the final answer still lists the 6 physicists, but now we can have the greater confidence in its accuracy because each claim has been independently verified. The researchers demonstrate the effectiveness of this method through rigorous experiments. When testing on Wikidata task, which involves answering list-based questions, the chain of verification method more than doubled the precision of responses compared to traditional approaches, improving from 17% to 36%. What's particularly interesting is that when the model answers verification questions independently about specific facts, it achieves around 70% accuracy, much higher than the 17 accuracy when trying to answer the complete question at once. And this shows that breaking down complex queries into smaller, verifiable pieces significantly improves reliability. And for biographical text generation, chain of verification also improved factual accuracy by 28% while maintaining comprehensiveness. And there was only a minimal reduction in the number of facts presented. This approach fundamentally changes how users can interact and trust AI systems. Users get more reliable information upfront without needing to fact-check everything themselves, and there's better transparency as users can see how the AI reached its conclusion through the verification process. This also reduces the risk of acting on incorrect information, especially in critical situations, and importantly, vague claims will become specific, verified information that users can confidently rely on. And for engineers and researchers, the benefits are equally compelling. The approach provides better debugging capabilities with a clearer understanding of where models make mistakes. It offers a systematic approach to enhancing reliability rather than ad hoc fixes. And importantly, the verification steps provide clear debugging points showing exactly where and how verification succeeded or failed. Now let's look at how this works in practice with a medical research example. Without verification, an AI might generate a vague response like studies show treatment X is effective for reducing inflammation in autoimmune conditions. This statement, while plausible, lacks specificity and could easily contain inaccuracies. With chain of verification, the system now checks specific parameters about studies, verifies statistical significance, cross-references different patient groups, and provides concrete metrics. This transformation from vague claims to specific, verified information demonstrates the power of systematic verification. Looking ahead, the insights from verification methods like chain of verification open up several interesting directions. We could develop hybrid verification approaches that combine verification with retrieval augmented generation, striking a balance between factual accuracy and broader knowledge access. Future systems might integrate with trustworthy data sources like knowledge graphs or expert-curated databases. We could focus on making verification more efficient without sacrificing accuracy. And we might develop domain-specific verification approaches tailored to fields like medicine, law, or education, where the verification requirements differ substantially. A chain of verification methods marks significant progress in addressing one of AI's most pressing challenges, ensuring factual accuracy. As AI systems become more integrated into everyday life, the demand for dependable, fact-based outputs continue to grow. Building trustworthy AI requires both intelligence and verification capabilities. And chain of verification represents an important shift in how we think about AI systems, not just as response generators, but as systems capable of self-reflection and verification. And this approach shows that with proper design, AI systems can be made significantly more reliable and trustworthy. So that's all about chain of verification. Thank you for listening.